Parenting isn't always easy, but it can be even more difficult with a step family. Joining me today to talk about blended families is psychologist Amy Trout with some simple solutions for successful step families. Good morning,
Good morning.
Amy. So great to have you back.
Thanks.
We're talking blended families today. You know, parenting isn't easy, but it can be especially difficult when you're dealing with a blended family. So what role does that person play, you know, that step parent coming into the child's life?
Yeah, you know, given that most families nowadays are blended, I think it's really easy for people to undervalue or underestimate the power and the challenges that that role presents.
Right.
You know, they're excited about maybe new love and new relationship opportunities, but the dynamics that go on are so unique to a blended situation that it's really important to go in kind of mindful and really know that you're not alone as you walk through, but most importantly, really role clarification and understanding sort of what works well with blended situations and what is less effective for a step parent.
You know, it's not like that parent, that mom or dad is coming in necessarily to replace that role necessarily as their mom or dad, but more as a supporter, you say, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The first step really is to avoid being a parent, you know, in the traditional way. So discipline or authority issues really come alongside as like a coach or like a camp counselor, come alongside as a buddy, especially, you know, with older kids, that's super important, but really at the beginning for all kids, you know, it's very important to establish like you're the buddy, you're the friend.
Right.
You monitor, you still have some authority, but you're not going to do the hard corrections.
Right.
That needs to come from bio mom or bio dad.
And that can be tough because I can hear the kids now, you know, in my head saying, you're not my mom or dad, you can't tell me what to do, and all those things that go along with it, you know, not being the parent. So really, really important, like you said, to identify that role.
It is, and you know, the kids didn't choose this. You know, as much as, you know, it may be a great thing, it's not, you know, the kids are dealing with a lot of possible loss and adjustment, and kids, you know, kids didn't choose this new spouse to move into the home. So we have to be very respectful of kids in that situation.
You also talk about stay connected. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so like with any kids in the home, but especially like bio kids, if they're with a different parent for a different amount of time or whatever, if life changes happen and you're not in the same under the same roof, but even when you are under the same roof, always try to make sure that you're maintaining connection with your kiddos. So it's easy to say like, oh, new marriage, date nights, lots of fun time for the couple, but we don't really get that same honeymoon period in blended families if we're going to do it really well. You want to have ample time with each child. It's very, very challenging to squeeze that out. You need to build those connections with the step kiddos, but really reinforce those ones with bio kiddos. It's super important for them not to feel abandoned or displaced any more than they may already feel.
So you have set the role, you've worked on that connection. It would seem easy for the respect to fall into place, right? Or maybe not.
Well, you have to have your expectations set pretty low. I think step parents go in pretty optimistic. You know, they want like to be, you know, best buddies and have this like really great connection. Keep those expectations incredibly low. Don't expect much. Don't get grumpy about much. Don't be too sensitive with kiddos. It's going to take some time. But, you know, really model respect for the other parent. The bio parents, as a step, I mean, as any parents, we really want to respect other parents because that goes to the core of a kid's identity. But as a step parent especially, you never want to get involved in that kind of piling on when the other parent might be upset with a bio parent, or when a kiddo's upset. You know, you can listen, you can offer support and empathy, but don't pile on. Show great respect for bio parents, and it'll bring you a lot more mileage long term with the kiddos.
And I think too, when speaking to respect, you know, I come from a divorced family. I think it's so important to model good behavior and not talk negatively about that other parent. I think that is probably one of the worst things that you can do, especially at such a young age, for that kid to hear.
Well, they take it in. I mean, that's their other half. You know, I mean, kids can't understand everything that adults can. And when kids come back hurt because of something that might have happened with a parent, it's great to offer support and listen and be safe, but it's hard to be that safe presence if you're already the one kind of fighting the crusade against the other parent, you know.
You also mentioned time, and I think ultimately it's going to take time, and we all have to realize that. You give it time and things will start to kind of grow, hopefully.
You know, in the best situations, in the best like blended family, perfect situations, 2 to 4 years is how long it takes for those relational bonds to start to really like adjust and connect. So you really have to be very, very patient. Think of it as, you know, you're in it for the long haul. You married not only the partner that you love, but the children. And, you know, it's just going to take a lot of really creative, very meticulous work to help those relationships grow.
What's your takeaway for any blended families out there listening, maybe struggling with those connections? What's your takeaway for them?
So it is just incredibly hard. I think no one can...
You're not alone in that. Know that other families deal with the same
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and
things.
no one can tell you how tricky it'll be. You know, there are great moments of joy, but I think everyone goes in very, very optimistic, and it's really hard not to. You don't want to lose what you have in the relationship because of struggles with the kiddos, and it happens a lot. So I would say if you find yourself in a really, really tight situation, really seek outside help. I mean, you know, we at Cornerstone can help as well, but find someone that can walk alongside of you and help kind of be that sounding board and help normalize.
It's nice to just talk to somebody about it sometimes.
Yeah, and give you some creative ideas, because it's really a whole different ballgame when you're living under the same roof with different people's kiddos and different parents.
Amy, thank you so much. If you would like more simple solutions on successful step families, head online to our website. You can find everything Amy talked about at fox4morningblend.com. Coming up next, show us your poker face. We hit the jackpot with our next guest, and they set the stakes high in this year's poker tournament. Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee joins us with the details, and later, abracadabra, we are casting spells to create a magical experience. How you can have a wonderful time at the wizarding world of Harry Potter.